sunny day on the island of Sodor, Thomas the Tank Engine chucked into Vickerstown Station and saw a shiny new engine. Gordon pulled up next to Thomas and sighed, "That's my brother. They call him the Flying Scotsman." The new engine said he was going to the Great Railway Show on the mainland. That's where engines compete to see who's the fastest and the strongest. But I'm not sure any engines from Sodor will be going. Thomas's rods rattled with excitement. He really wanted to go.
Flying Scotsman coming through! Oh.
The Great Race. Thomas found Sir Topham Hatt and suggested that some streamlining be added to an engine from Sodor so it could win races at the show. That's an excellent idea. Once he's been streamlined, Gordon will be faster than ever. Gordon! That was not what Thomas had in mind. The next day, a railway ferry made a very exciting delivery to Brendam Docks. Thomas watched as engines from all over the world rolled ashore. "Where are you all going?" "The Great Railway Show." "That's happening on the mainland." The engines jostled and pushed past Thomas as they returned to the ferry. Whoopsie, wrong stop. A brightly painted engine named Ashima rushed for the departing ferry and bumped into Thomas. "Whoa!" He peeped as he teetered on the edge of the quay. Dock workers quickly wrapped a chain around Thomas's coupling hook. With Ashima's help, they pulled him back from the edge. Whew! Ashima apologized for bumping Thomas and asked if there was another way to the mainland since she'd now missed her ferry. But Thomas didn't answer. He just chugged away in a huff. "I don't see why she could get into the Great Railway Show." "Because she's very beautifully painted." "Any engine can get painted." Suddenly, Thomas had another idea. He unhooked his carriages and sped to the steamworks. Thomas told Victor he needed to be repainting. "I was thinking maybe lightning bolts and racing stripes." Meanwhile, over at the Diesel Works, Diesel had an idea of his own. He wanted to disguise Paxton, Den, and Dart as his trucks and pretend to pull them. "I'll look like I'm pulling a very heavy train all by myself. And if Sir Topham Hatt thinks I'm stronger than Henry, he'll take me to the Great Railway Show instead." "That's cheating."
"I'm full of surprises."
Are you singing, Diesel?
They ought to say of me, I bring some razzle-dazzle to the yard. I'm full of surprises. As you can plainly see, I don't find being surprising all that hard.
I can't really see anything under here.
I'm full of surprises, they ought to say of me. I bring some razzle-dazzle to the yard. I'm full of surprises, as you can plainly see. I don't find being surprising all that hard. Some would probably say I'm only up to my old tricks, but I'd say I'm a problem solver, looking for a nice quick fix. I'm full of surprises, they ought to say of me. I bring some razzle-dazzle to the rail. I'm full of surprises, as you can plainly see. I'm trusting my surprises to prevail. I hope this time being surprising doesn't fail. They used to call me devious because I had a bit of previous.
That's someone I know.
But please, you must believe us. I'm not that bad. Well, maybe just a taste.
Later that day, Thomas met Ashima again. She didn't understand why Thomas had wanted to be painted like her.
Every engine that I ever knew was at least a little different from the others. And some were very, very different too, even from their sisters and their brothers. You can only be you. There's nothing else you can possibly do. It's plain to me that you're trying too hard, so instead just be who you are.
I don't want to be me.
You wish you could be faster, bigger, stronger. You wish you could have more than 6 more wheels. You think if you were just a little longer, you'd have more railway show appeal.
Of course, every bit of me is short and stumpy. My funnel and my boiler and my dome. Can't you see my paintwork's old and frumpy? That's why I'll be the one who's left at home. Why do I have to be me? Is this what I'm really meant to be? Break me, shake me, take me all apart. There has to be a better place to start.
Every bit of you is neat and tidy. There's nothing that you need to rearrange. If you ask me, you're completely bona fide. What makes you think there's anything to change?
Why do I have to be me? Is this what I'm really meant to be?
Calm down, be quiet. You know in your heart there isn't any other place to start.
Why do I have to be me?
You can only be
Is this what I'm really meant to be?
There's nothing else you can
Shake
do.
me, break me, take me all apart, and find a better place to start.
You don't have to try, just be who you are, and trust your 6 small wheels to take you far.
Ashima asked Thomas if he was good at shunting and sorting trucks. Yes, and then he had his best idea yet for going to the Great Railway Show. I'll show Sir Topham Hatt what I can do best. The next morning, Thomas went to Knapford Station to practice his shunting, but the rails were blocked by Diesel's tricky trucks. Thomas decided to move them himself. What are you doing? You'll spoil my trick! There was a red signal ahead. Thomas tried to stop, but the Diesels kept pushing because they couldn't hear the warning bell. Crash! Thomas collided with a passing engine named Norman. It was the day of the Great Railway Show, and all the engines Sir Topham Hatt had chosen were ready to go. Gordon had been painted and streamlined. He even had a new nameplate, the Shooting Star. Sir Topham Hatt had wanted Thomas to go for the shunting challenge, but now Thomas needed to be repaired after his accident. Percy would go in his place. Thomas tooted goodbye to the engines. He even wished Ashima good luck. Later that morning, Victor and Kevin discovered that Gordon's safety valve had never been installed after streamlining. Without his valve, Gordon could dangerously overheat during his race. Even though his own repairs weren't finished, Thomas took the safety valve and streamed across Vickerstown Bridge to the mainland. Thomas reached the Great Railway Show. He eagerly searched the crowds of visiting engines and found Gordon on the starting line of the great race. But Gordon wouldn't listen to Thomas. Nonsense! The steam at the Solar Steamworks is very efficient. And besides, the race is starting now. A whistle blew, green flags waved, and the engines took off. Gordon raced raced along the tracks, passing engines. Shooting star coming through! But suddenly his face turned red, and steam hissed from inside his streamlining. Gordon's brother, the Flying Scotsman, tried to warn him that something was wrong, but Gordon wouldn't listen, until his boiler burst. He sputtered to a stop in a cloud of steam as the other engines sped on. Oh, the indignity! Meanwhile, over at the shunting challenge, Percy was too scared to enter the race. He wanted Thomas to compete in his place. Okay, but I might lose, you know. But Thomas didn't lose. He chuffed through round after round, pulling tankers and flatbeds into line. He beat the big engines from Russia, Italy, and Brazil. In the end, there were only 2 engines left, Thomas and Ashima. A whistle blew, and the final challenge began. Go, Thomas! The 2 engines steamed back and forth, buffering boxcars into place. Soon their sidings were full, and it was a race to the finish line. But then Thomas noticed an overturned truck on Ashima's track. He sped along to push it out of the way. Ashima raced to victory. Thomas, you let me win. I know, but it wouldn't have been fair. Your track was blocked. Soon after, everyone gathered for the award ceremony. We would like to declare 2 winners in the shunting challenge. Ashima had won for the fastest time, and Thomas had also won for helping his competitor. All the engines whistled and cheered. Sir Topham Hatt was proud of Thomas for being really useful and very thoughtful too. He was just being himself, sir. You can only be you. There's nothing else you can possibly do. The end.
I can only be me. There's nothing else I can possibly be. And now I'm happy, I am who I am. I'll be the best me that I can.
You don't need to be faster, bigger, stronger. You don't need more than 6 more wheels.
I don't need to be taller or be longer. Being me now has its own appeal. Be who you are and go far, go far. Be who you are and go far. Be who you are and go fast, go far. Be who you are and go far. We don't need to be faster, bigger, stronger. We don't need more than 6 small